The layer of mind discussed here today is one that was seen by Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung as the deepest and most fundamental level of the human psyche that is shared by our evolutionary history and is not the result of personal experience or cultural condition. Hello, and welcome to Friday. I hope your day is going great so far. Welcome to the Manifest on Purpose Mindset Show. I am your host, Kimberly. I help you transform your mind so that you can become the best version of yourself. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for inviting your friends and guests, and thank you for subscribing here and on the website at manifestonpurpose.net. The God in me loves the God in you. Before we get into the show, I have a few updates. Make sure that if you're interested in numerology, you're checking out the new podcast, Numbers and You, by world-renowned Astro-Numerologist Lloyd Strayhorn. You can find that in the description, and you can also go to lloyd-strayhorn.com/podcast. Also, please check out the link below for Manifest on Purpose exclusive content. That link again is right in the description, or you can go to manifestonpurpose.net. Some things you just know without having to be taught. I once had an experience with a cat that I've never forgotten. This experience happened to me during the time I consider myself the cat woman. One day, walking my dog, I got a pleasant surprise. He was a large pit bull, so when he pulled me off to the side of the road into the ditch, I was left with no choice but to follow him there. He dug around in that ditch for a little while, leaving me no choice but to wonder what he was digging at. Soon enough, though, I found out. It was a tiny black and white kitten. He gently brought her out, holding her by his mouth, and carried her home with us. We named her Cash. The two became close friends, and Cash grew up quickly, and with no shortage of cats in the neighborhood, she began to have kittens of her own. Of these, I grew especially fond of one that had a deformed tail. I named her Tiger because she had stripes and she was a little fierce. I watched Tiger grow up too. One would say she grew up right before my very eyes. I had been traveling that day and was met at the front porch by Tiger, who appeared to be in pain. I was a little concerned, and I stopped there for a moment just to see what was going on. Within a few brief minutes, I found out. Tiger began to have her first litter of kittens before my very eyes. I was amazed at the gift of birth and the fact Tiger knew just how to take care of her newborn kittens. It took me back to the birth of my first child. What an amazing experience. There were so many people, from family to friends and even medical staff, willing to give me advice about how to take care of my little bundle of joy. I'd never been sat down before in my life and told, okay, this is how you take care of a baby. But from the time my son was born, I knew exactly what to do, and I did it. Some things you know without even being taught. According to metaphysicians, the collective unconscious is the transformational level of the mind. We've been talking about the layers of the mind, and today we're talking about that transformative level. That level is the collective unconscious. According to Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist who developed the concept of the collective unconscious is a part of the human psyche that contains inherited or universal elements of human experience that are shared by all people, regardless of culture or individual differences. Jung believed that the collective unconscious is made up of archetypes, which are universal symbolic patterns or images that are present in all cultures and religions. Some examples of these archetypes include the mother, the hero, the shadow, and the trickster. Nobody wants to get connected with the tricksters, huh? It is said that these archetypes are inherited from our ancestors and are present in the collective unconscious because they have been repeatedly experienced and passed down from generation to generation. This is the reason why there are some things you know that you haven't been taught or socially conditioned to do. The collective unconscious also includes instincts, inherited predispositions, and the collective experiences of all living things, such as the ability to nurture a child. It was apparent in me and also in Tiger. It is said that these archetypes are so powerful that they have the power to rule the attitudes, opinions, and desires of the lower levels of the mind. The transformation of the controlling archetype causes dramatic change in the surface personality. To explore this deeper, let's think about the religious symbols. Because remember, archetypes can be symbols also. Because the cross is a popular religious symbol, let's think about the cross and Christianity. For those deeply rooted in Christianity, the cross has a profound meaning. The meaning for each person may vary, but the bottom line is this: the cross, enlarged to many people, represents some form of transformation. In many religious cultures, it can be noted that the accompanying symbol of that religion is just as powerful as that religion. To understand and to be able to use the level of the mind known as the collective unconscious is another step up the ladder to the evolution of the higher self. What the collective unconscious proves to us is that there has to be a ruling intelligence, a higher source, if you will, that is responsible for the transformation that must take place in the evolution of mind. And that, my friend, is what we will get into in the next conversation. The highest level of mind. Not everything is learned. Some things are innate. It may sound cliche, but we are all connected. Carl Jung's concept of the collective unconscious mind supports this. According to Dr. Jung, it is the deepest and most fundamental level of the human psyche that is shaped by our evolutionary history. And it is not the result of personal experience or cultural conditioning. I witnessed my cat Tiger give birth to her first litter of kittens. I also watched her immediately begin to care for them without instruction. Sort of the same way I just knew how to take care of my first child without being taught. Are there some things you just know how to do, although you've never been taught? Perhaps you can thank the symbols, archetypes, ancestors, the collective unconscious, or perhaps you can just thank the ruling intelligence in the universe. I love you to life. This is how you manifest on purpose. Let's prepare for meditation. If you are driving, this is not the time to meditate. Please download this and save it for later. If you are not driving, this is your time to meditate. Please find your sacred space, the space that is comfortable for you, distraction-free and safe, the place in which you can relax and focus on your breathing. Enjoy your meditation.